We'll start in 1 minute. Today we'll continue with Test 1 review. Test 1 is tomorrow at about 8 o'clock. Later today I'll send information about the Zoom meeting. Here we got to this problem, number 12. Graph by plotting points. The lines whose equations are given below. The equation x equals 4 in the xy plane, that represents a vertical line. So that is x equals 4. The next one, y equals -2, that's a horizontal line. So y equals -2 is this horizontal line. Y equals -3x plus 1. We can plot the y-intercept, which is 0, 1. When x is 0, y is 1. And then we can use the slope, -3/1. So just note that the slope is -3/1. And then that means the numerator is -3, so we move from 0, 1, we move down 3 units. And the denominator is +1, so we move to the right 1 unit. This ordered pair is 1 for x and -2 for y. And then we draw a line through those 2 points. Okay, so that's one way to graph that line. It's not the only way. Graph the line y equals x/2 plus 4. We can plot the y-intercept again when x is 0, y is 4. So this ordered pair is 0, 4. So when graphing, make sure you label the points as ordered pairs. Then we can use the slope to find another point. The slope is 1/2. X/2 means the same thing as 1/2 times x, so the slope is 1/2. So from the y-intercept, we can use the slope. A rise of 1 means move up 1. A run of 2 means move to the right 2. So we're at this point. The ordered pair for that point is 2 for x and 5 for y. And then draw a line through those 2 points. Okay, in problem 13, find 2 ordered pairs, x comma y in parentheses, that are solutions to the equation 4x minus 3y equals 6. We have infinitely many choices to find solutions. We just want to find 2 ordered pair solutions. So just do whatever you want. We can pick x to be 0. And when x is 0, 4 times 0 minus 3y equals 6. Or 3y equals 6, which means y equals negative 2. So one ordered pair solution is 0, negative 2. And we can, if you want, you can pick y to be 0. And if y is 0, we have 4x minus 3 times 0 equals 6. Or 4x equals 6. Divide both sides by 4, x equals 6 divided by 4, or 3/2. So a second solution is the ordered pair 3/2, 0. We're not going to graph this line, but if we were to graph it, the line passes through those 2 points. So you see the connection. An ordered pair that's on the graph of a linear equation is also a solution to that equation, an ordered pair solution. Okay, in the next problem, graph the equation 2x plus 4y equals 4 in the xy plane by using the x and y intercepts. So in general, we have infinitely many choices, but if the directions say to graph it by finding the x and y intercepts, then that narrows it down to 2. So we'll find the y-intercept first. When x is 0, 2 times 0 plus 4y equals 4, that leaves us with 4y equals 4, or y equals 1. And so the y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, 1. To find the x-intercept, we replace y with 0. And when y is 0, we get 2x plus 0 equals 4, or 2x equals 4. And divide both sides by 2, we get x equals 2. So the ordered pair 2, 0 is the x-intercept. And then plot 0, 1. Remember to label the point, 0, 1. Plot 2, 0. And label it, and then draw a straight line through those 2 points. Okay, the next problem is of the same sort. Graph the equation negative 3x minus 2y equals 6 in the xy plane by using the x and y intercepts. Okay, same exercise as the previous one. To find the y-intercept, replace x with 0. When x is 0, we're left with negative 2y equals 6. Divide both sides by negative 2, y equals negative 3. So the ordered pair 0, negative 3 is the y-intercept. To find the x-intercept, replace y with 0. And when y is 0, we're left with negative 3x equals 6. Divide both sides by negative 3, x equals negative 2. So the ordered pair negative 2, 0 is the x-intercept. Hey, plot the y-intercept 0, negative 3, and label the ordered pair 0, negative 3. The x-intercept negative 2, 0, and label that negative 2, 0, and then graph the line by drawing a line through those 2 points. And number 16, same directions. Graph the equation y equals x divided by 2 minus 3 by using the x and y intercepts. Okay, why don't you take a turn and find the x and y intercepts so you can type those in online, or if you're in the classroom, you can blurt them out. That is, say them out loud, in other words.
Zero, negative 3 for y-intercept.
Zero, negative 3 for y-intercept.
Yeah, we want the y-intercept too. I mean, that was the y-intercept and the x-intercept.
And then 2, negative 2.
Okay. I'm going to wait to see if someone online on YouTube types in an answer. Okay, well, we can't wait indefinitely to find the y-intercept. Replace x with 0. So 0 divided by 2 is 0. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. So the y-intercept is 0, negative 3. Remember that the intercepts need to be enclosed in parentheses. The ordered pairs they have parentheses. Okay, the x-intercept occurs when y is 0. When y is 0, we have 0 equals x over 2 minus 3. We can add 3 to both sides. We get 3 equals x over 2. And then multiply both sides by 2. We get x equals 6. So the x coordinate is 6. The ordered pair, 6, 0 in parentheses. Okay, then plot those points and label them. 0, negative 3. The y-intercept. 6, 0. Okay, that's the x-intercept. Then you can graph the line. Okay, the next page. Number 17, find the slope of the line that passes through the points 1, negative 7, and 4, 3. Okay, the slope formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember, rise over run. So in this case, well, we have a couple of ways to compute the slope. We'll get the same slope regardless. So in the numerator, the difference in the y-coordinates, so I'm going to write 3 minus negative 7, 3 minus negative 7. And in the denominator, I have to write 4 minus 1. And then 3 minus negative 7 is 3 plus 7. 4 minus 1 is 3. And so the slope is 10/3, 10 over 3. Hey, the next problem is the same kind as number 17. Find the slope of the line that passes through the points 6, 6, and negative 10, negative 7. Okay, take a few seconds and find the slope of the line that passes through those 2 points. Shouldn't take too long. So what'd you get for the slope of the line that passes through those points? The ordered pair is 6, comma 6, and negative 10, comma negative 7.
Negative 13 over 16.
Sounds right. Okay, let's do this real quick. So y2 minus y1, we can write 6 minus negative 7 in the numerator. And then in the denominator, we have to write 6 minus negative 10. 6 minus negative 7 is 6 plus 7 over 6 minus negative 10 is 6 plus 10. And 13 over 16 is the slope. Okay, number 19, graph the line that passes through the point whose ordered pair is negative 5, 2, and whose slope is m equals 3/4. Okay, first, we will plot the point negative 5, 2. Okay, negative 5, 2. And then label it negative 5, 2. And then use the slope 3/4 to find another point. Okay, so rise over run. The rise is positive 3. So from this point, we can move up 3 units. And then from there, move to the right 4 units. So we're at this point. So the ordered pair there is negative 1, 5. So on the test paper, you'll have a little more room than what I have here. I could have made this better by moving it down a little bit, but hey, number 20. Graph the line 3x plus 2y equals negative 2 by using the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, well, if it requires us to use the slope, then the first thing I think of is to convert this to slope-intercept form. So in other words, solve for y. So to solve this equation for y, first subtract 3y from both sides. So we get 2y equals negative 3x minus 2. And then divide every term on both sides by 2. We get y equals negative 3 halves times x minus 1. Okay, so the y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, negative 1. Remember that the intercepts are ordered pairs. And the slope is negative 3 over 2. Okay, so we can graph the line if we plot the point 0, negative 1. Okay, then we can use the slope in one of two ways, depending on your preference. You can think of the slope as negative 3 over positive 2, or positive 3 over negative 2. So given the way I started graphing this, I'm going to use positive 3 over negative 2 to find another point. So from this point, 0, negative 1, if I rise 3, I move up 1, 2, 3. And the run is negative 2, so that means from here I move to the left 2 units. So I'm at this point, and the ordered pair for that one is negative 2 for x and 2 for y. You can use the other slope if you prefer, negative 3 over positive 2 from this point. A rise of negative 3 means move down 3 units. So here we're at negative 4. And a run of 2 units means move to the right 2 units. So this ordered pair is 2, negative 4. Okay, you don't have to do both. I'm just showing that you have those two options. They should all be on the same line. Okay, the next problem. Use any method to graph negative x plus 3y equals 6. So we've seen a couple of methods. We can use the x and y intercepts. We can use the slope and the y-intercept. Another method is just find two solutions to this equation and then plot those points in the xy plane and draw a straight line through them. So we have lots of options. But when you're taking a timed test, you don't want to spend a lot of time debating. You just want to pick a method and apply it. So I'll just use the x and y intercepts. So the y-intercept occurs when x is 0. When x is 0, we're left with 3y equals 6 or y equals 2. So the ordered pair is 0, 2. And then the x-intercept occurs when y is 0. When y is 0, we have negative x equals 6 or x equals negative 6. And then we can plot those ordered pairs. Okay, 0, 2. And negative 6, 0. Okay, that's one way to do it. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Okay, use any method to graph y equal or y minus 4x equals 0. So I'll give you a few seconds. Find the ordered pairs of 2 points that are on that line. 2 points that we can plot and then draw a graph. Okay, there's one ordered pair that got typed in, but in order to graph a line, we need 2 ordered pairs. What's another ordered pair? Well, on line, one of those ordered pairs is correct. Okay, let's start by picking x to be 0. When x is 0, we get y equals 0. So we have the ordered pair 0, 0 on the, that's a point on the line. So I'll label it in a minute. So we have a lot of other choices for points. Notice that in this case, this point is not only the y-intercept, but it's the x-intercept. And a straight line in the xy plane, if it has non-zero slope, will only have one x-intercept and one y-intercept. So this point is both the x-intercept and the y-intercept. But we still need one more point. We have infinitely many other choices. Just pick one.
-1, 0. That works.
Which one?
-1, 0. Is that-
When x is -1?
Yeah.
Okay, let's pick x to be -1. And then in this equation, replace x with -1. And then do the arithmetic. Y minus -4. This is the same as y plus 4 equals 0. And then solve for y. We get y equals -4. So the ordered pair -1, -4 is a point on the graph. Does that make sense? Okay, so we have enough to graph the line. Maybe another thing that you could do, solve this equation for y, just write it as y equals 4 times x. The slope is 4/1. Well, if you pick x to be +1, the y coordinate is 4 times 1. So we have more than enough ordered pairs. So 1, 4. This one's 0, 0, and -1, -4. So draw a line through those points. So 1, 4 is a point on the line, but the ordered pair 4, 1 is not on the line. The ordered pair 4, 1 is over here, but it's not on that line. Okay, number 23. Use the slopes to determine if the two lines are perpendicular. -7x minus 3y equals 1, and -3x minus 7y equals 3. So let's just find the slope of each of those. If we rewrite each of those in slope-intercept form, so -7x minus 3y equals -1, we can add 7x to both sides, and we get -3y equals 7x minus 1. Then divide every term on both sides by -3. We get y equals -7/3 x plus 1/3. The slope of this line is -7/3. For the other line, -3x minus 7y equals 3. Solve for y by adding 3x to both sides, so we get -7y equals 3x plus 3. Then divide both sides by -7. We get y equals -3/7 x minus 3/7. The slope of this line is -3/2 or -3/7. So for this line over here, -7/3 is the slope. For this line over here, -3/7 is the slope. So are the lines perpendicular? No. The slopes are reciprocals, but they are not negative reciprocals. So the lines are not perpendicular. Okay, the next one, same directions. Use the slopes to determine if the line 3x plus 4y equals -9 is perpendicular to the line 4x minus 3y equals 5. Okay, so rewrite each of the equations in slope-intercept form, the y equals mx plus b form. In other words, solve for y. So subtract 3x from both sides. We get 4y equals negative 3x minus 9. Then divide every term on both sides by 4. We get y equals negative 3/4 times x minus 9/4. The slope of this line is negative 3/4. The other line, 4x minus 3y equals 5. Write it in slope-intercept form. In other words, solve for y. So subtract 4x from both sides. We get negative 3y equals negative 4x plus 5. Divide every term on both sides by negative 3. We get y equals positive 4/3 x minus 5/3. The slope of this line is positive 4/3. These two numbers are negative reciprocals of each other. So that means graphically the two lines are perpendicular. So they are perpendicular in this case. So if you were to graph them, they would form right angles at the intersection. Okay, the next problem, use the slopes to determine if the lines are parallel. Parallel lines have the same slope, so negative 6x plus 4y equals 3. To find the slope, we can just write it in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So we solve for y. First add 6x to both sides. We get 4y equals 6x plus 3. Then divide every term on both sides by 4. We get y equals 6x over 4, or 3/2 x, plus 3/4. The slope of this line is 3/2. Okay, the other line, 3x minus 2y equals 2. Solve for y. First subtract 3x from both sides. We get negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 2. Divide every term on both sides by negative 2. We get y equals 3/2 x minus 1. The slope of this line is 3/2 also. So that means the lines are parallel. They have the same slope. So they are parallel. Okay, the next problem, number 26. Suppose r equals 575 thousandths times k plus 42, where r is the number of dollars earned by driving k kilometers. Find the units of the slope. Okay, take a couple of minutes. Find the units of the slope. Well, you could use an analogy. when we write a linear equation in the form y equals mx plus b, the slope-intercept form, then we know the slope is rise over run, which is a change in the y-coordinates divided by the change in the x-coordinates. So don't be worried about this too much. This is delta y is just a fancy way of writing y2 minus y1. And delta x is a way to write x2 minus x1. Well, in the numerator, we have y values. So whatever the units of y are is in the numerator, and delta x is in the denominator, or the x values are in the denominator. So whatever the units of x are. So you could say units of y per unit of x. It's a rate. Another example of a rate that you're familiar with is miles per hour. Or if you have a job, you might earn dollars per hour, things like that. Okay, so this equation, it's not of the form y equals mx plus b. We're using different variables. Instead of y, we're using r, and instead of x, we're using k. So the units of the slope, well, the slope is 0.575. See, the units of r are dollars. And the units of k are kilometers. So dollars per kilometer are the units of the slope. You could write it out this way, dollars per kilometer. That's something we can relate to. If you have a job driving a truck or something, you might earn so many dollars per kilometer, or in the US, it would be dollars per mile, maybe. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Number 27, find an equation of the line that passes through the points -3, 2, and 2, -6. Well, first we need the slope. So we can find the slope of the line that passes through those 2 points. In the numerator, I'll write 2 minus -6. And in the denominator, -3 minus 2. And then in the numerator, 2 minus -6 is 2 plus 6, or 8. And in the denominator, -3 minus 2 is -5. So just -8/5 is the slope. And then we can use the point slope form, and we can pick either of the 2 points. It doesn't matter which one you pick. I'll pick the ordered pair 2, -6. And the point slope form is y minus -6 equals -8/5 times x minus 2. And we'll do one more thing. Y minus -6 is just y plus 6. And that's equal to -8/5 times the quantity x minus 2. Okay, the next problem, find an equation of the line with slope -5/3 that passes through the point 9, -15. This one's a little bit nicer because the slope is already given and a point on the line is given. So we can use the point slope form again, just to remind you, the point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. So we write y minus -15 equals the slope -5/3 times the quantity x minus 9, or y plus 15 equals -5/3 times x minus 9. Okay, number 29. Find an equation of the line perpendicular to the line 5x minus 4y equals -3 that passes through the point 5, 3. Okay, we need to find the slope of this line, 5x minus 4y equals -3, and then we use the negative reciprocal of that for the line that's perpendicular to the given line. Okay, so I'll write the equation of the given line, 5x minus 4y equals -3. We want to find the slope. So we can just write the slope-intercept form, -4y equals -5x minus 3. Divide every term on both sides by -4. We get y equals positive 5/4 x plus 3/4. Okay, the slope of the given line is 5/4. And so the slope of the line that's perpendicular to that is the negative reciprocal of 5/4, which is -4/5. And then our x1, y1 is the ordered pair 5, 3. So we'll just write down the point slope form, y minus y1, and in this case is y minus 3 equals -4/5 times the quantity x minus 5. Okay, let's go ahead and write it in slope-intercept form. So we distribute multiplication by -4/5. -4/5 times x, and then -4/5 times -5 is +4, so we write +4. And then lastly, add 3 to both sides, we get y equals -4/5 x plus 7. That's the slope-intercept form. Okay, on number 30, find an equation of the line that's parallel to -4x plus y equals -5. Okay, so we need to find the slope of this line, and the line that's parallel to it will have the same slope, and the new line passes through -5, 1. So -4x plus y equals -5. Solve for y by adding 4x to both sides. We get y equals 4x minus 5. The slope is, well, informally we say the slope is 4. What we really mean is 4/1, rise over run. Okay, so the slope of the parallel line is the same, m equals 4. So we can start by writing the point slope form, y minus 1 equals 4 times the quantity x minus -5. And this is y minus 1 equals 4 times the quantity x plus 5. To get it into slope-intercept form, we write y minus 1 equals 4x plus 20, and then lastly add 1 to both sides, y equals 4x plus 21. Well, number 31, find the equations for the 3 lines whose graphs are shown below. I guess I should take this problem out or put 3 graphs there. We have a little over a minute. I'll just plot a couple of points. -3, 2, and say 4, 1. Find the equation of the line that passes through those 2 points. So pretend like that's a straight line. So we have less than a minute. We can do it in less than a minute. Find the slope. We can write 2 minus 1 in the numerator, and in the denominator, -3 minus 4. So we get 1 over -7 or -1/7 for the slope. And then we can pick one or the other of those 2 ordered pairs. It doesn't matter which one. And then write the point slope form. So let's pick the point 4, 1. So y minus 1 equals -1/7 times x minus 4. Okay, so that's an equation for that line. Okay, we're a little over time, so go ahead and sign in for attendance. Later today, I'll send an email with the link to the Zoom meeting for tomorrow's test that will start by 8 o'clock. You'll be able to join it before 8 o'clock, but so look for that later today.